everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally bringing you guys my review of the entire collection from Kkw Beauty. So this is the Celestial Skies collection. I have all of the 3 palettes that she launched. I have the 2 cheek palettes that she launched, and I also have all 5 of the lip products. Now, you guys know I love Kkw Beauty. It is one of my favorite brands. I would say it's probably one of my top 5 favorite brands. I use several of her products in my daily routine, so I know her formulas very well. I have tons of her lips. In fact, her lippies are probably the most that I have from one brand. So I have like 9 or 10 different glosses. I have probably 12 to 15 different shades of her lipsticks, and I have pretty much all of her palettes but the matte collection. So I am very, very familiar when it comes to Kkw Beauty, how her products perform, and this palette is always next to me. This is the classic palette. This is my favorite palette, one of my top favorites besides the Scott Barnes. You guys know I love my Scott Barnes, but this one is one of my go-to favorite palettes that I have used so much. In fact, this is my second palette. My last palette started to get pan on this shade and this shade, and I got me a new one. So when she released these 3 eyeshadow palettes, I was really interested because it's her first like smaller palette with just these 5 shades. In the video, I create one look with each palette, just so that you guys can see, you know, how they perform and the looks that I create with each palette. In my final thoughts, after we get through all the tutorials, in my final thoughts, I will tell you which palette I like personally more, and also how I feel about the 2 blush palettes. So these are the 2 blush palettes. She has one shimmer palette. This is the shimmer palette, and then this is the matte palette. The reason why I'm so late in reviewing this collection is because when I ordered it, I decided I didn't want the matte palette because I have several of her matte blushes. I have this one from the new Kkw Beauty and Mario one. This is in the shade Very Grateful, which is kind of similar to what I already have. I also have Flower Wall, which I really love this one. This one was from the Mrs. West collection. I have Destiny, which Destiny is a beautiful, I love this one. Out of all of her blushes, this one is my favorite. That's the one thing that I don't like about her packaging is they all look the same. So you don't know which one is the Brighten powder, which one is a highlighter, and which one is the blush. I don't like that. Then I have this one. This one is in the shade Grace. For my skin tone, I like this one better, but if you're lighter than me, I would say the Grace would be better. With all that said, I'm very familiar with her blushes. I use them all the time, but none of her blushes have ever had the shimmer formula. So when this collection launched, I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna buy any of the matte blushes because I already have several of her matte blushes in my collection, but I wanna try the new shimmer formula. So I clicked on the shimmer palette, put it in my cart, and it was still the shimmer palette. When I checked out and I got the email confirmation, it said the matte palette. So when I emailed them, it took them 48 hours to get back to me, and by that time, this entire collection had already shipped to me. I went ahead and made a second order because I was like, okay, fine. I guess I'm gonna be doing the entire collection. And I did a second order and clicked on the shimmer palette, put it in my cart, checked out, and I was sent the matte, and then I got the email confirmation of the matte palette. So I actually had to cancel that one. Once they got that fixed, because there was obviously some kind of glitch on their website that when you clicked on the shimmer and you put it in your cart, it would send the confirmation email as the matte. So with all of that said, I finally got the shimmer palette, which is the reason why I am so delayed reviewing this. But this is her first shimmer blush formula, and I was really curious about it because I am not somebody that likes a lot of shimmer on my skin. I am older. I turned 40. I turned 41 this year, and for me, if I put a lot of shimmer on my cheeks and stuff, I feel like it's just too much for my skin. I have texture. I don't have enlarged pores, but my pores are getting bigger. I mean, that's just what comes with age. And I also have hyperpigmentation and stuff on my cheek, and so anytime anytime I put anything shimmer on there, it kind of starts to not look the best on me. If you're young, shimmer is beautiful, but if you're older, it has to be the right formula. Now the lipsticks, so you could buy these individually or you could buy these in the collection. So I bought all 5 of the shades. I try on all of the shades in this video because I'm going to be doing basically 6 different applications. In order to keep the video as short as possible, I'm not going to be doing any of the talking through the eyeshadow tutorials or any of the clips of me applying these lipsticks. I will talk through the cheek palettes just so you guys can hear my thoughts as I'm applying them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into the eyeshadow tutorials, and I will see you guys in my final thoughts. Okay, so it is 10:30 at night, the day that I'm actually editing. I was editing and I realized that I accidentally deleted my footage of me applying the blush palette. So fortunately for me, I didn't have any makeup on, so I hurried and threw on some foundation, threw on some concealer. There are 3 shades in this matte palette. I think on one cheek, I'm gonna apply this shade right here. So I recommend tapping off your brush because this is a very pigmented blush. That's pretty. Now this spot is extra dark right now because I had Botox today and the girl zapped this for me, and so no foundation or anything is covering it. But I had it zapped with an IPL today, and so, well, I guess it's not an IPL machine. I guess it's stronger than IPL. I don't know. Anyways, so it's much stronger, and so it's gonna get darker before it starts to kind of flake off. So that's the reason why that spot looks really dark right now. So this is what the peach blush looks like. I think it looks really pretty. It's very soft on the cheek, very subtle, if you go in lightly and tap your brush off. If you don't, you're gonna get too much. I'm gonna go on the other cheek with this middle shade right here. So that's what the middle shade looks like, and I think it looks pretty. But honestly, I can't really tell a difference between those 2 shades. I said that in the shimmer palette. When I put both of those on, I really couldn't tell a difference between them. And to be honest with you, on my skin tone, I can't tell a difference between those 2 shades. Now, this more terracotta shade right here, I can definitely tell a difference. And then I'm gonna apply this one over top of this side so you guys can see what the color looks like. But see how much comes off on the brush? Be very careful. I'm gonna tap off and I'm gonna put it on this side. You can see it is very dark, very blushy. I like bringing blush on the apples of my cheeks. A lot of people don't, but I do. Now, if this was a day of me doing my makeup, I would go in with my powder and really blend this into my skin and kind of buff out the edges, but I'm not gonna put any powder on or anything tonight. Okay, so this is the newest one from the Mario collaboration. This one is more of like a dark peachy shade, but this one is not near as pigmented as this blush palette is. I don't know why it's so pigmented, but it's got a lot of pigment. But so I've wiped off my brush as good as I can. But if I pick up this color, it does not pick up near the pigment. So this is much softer as far as the way it picks up on the brush than this palette is. This palette is very, very pigmented. So if you're somebody that only likes a flush of blush, I don't know that I would reach for this because I feel like this is for those of you out there that just love blush, period. And it's almost too much for me because I have to be so careful. If I didn't tap off and I went directly on, oh my gosh, I would be like Clown City. You know what I mean? That's the tutorial for the matte palette. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here and finish editing so I can get this video up for you guys. And let's go ahead and jump into the application of the shimmer blush palette, which I'm excited for you guys to see that one. So let's go ahead and jump into that footage. This is the Shimmers blush palette. So as you saw in the previous application, I had the matte palette. So today I'm going to be applying the shimmer palette. This one's shimmer and this one is matte. So they're the exact same shade. The only thing that I have on right now is my foundation, and I put some contour on. So I didn't put any bronzer on, just so that you guys could see what it looks like. I do like to have a little bit of contour on the cheekbone, so I'm gonna grab this shade right here. So it's shimmery, but it's not too much shimmer. So for example, this palette right here, this is the Hourglass Ambient Strobe Lighting Blush. This is in the shade Incandescent Electra. So this one has a little bit of that shimmer to it, right? So it has a matte and a shimmer blush combined. Hourglass does their complexion products so amazing. Like any of their powder products are just, oh, perfection. This is kind of in between. So this is not as shimmery as this from Kkw Beauty. So I think it's gonna depend on what you like. I am not big on shimmer. Like, I don't mind a tiny bit of shimmer, but I'm not big with shimmer on my cheeks because I just don't like to emphasize my texture and my pores and my hyperpigmentation and all of that. And I feel like anytime you put any type of shimmer on the face, it will do that. And this might be a tad bit too shimmery for me. That's just kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna go into this shade. I like the matte blush much better than the shimmering blush palette. That's just me personally. And I don't know that I noticed much of a difference between those two shades either. I mean, this is definitely pinky. But this kind of looks pink too. So I don't know that I even noticed a difference between the two shades. So I'm gonna go in and grab a tiny bit of this, tap off as much as I can, and then I'm just gonna go over top. And if it gets too much, I can tone it down with powder. Yeah, that was too much. Oh shit, skis. This is my suggestion. If you have a darker skin tone, then this shade is perfect for you. If you have a lighter skin tone, I don't know that I would ever use this as a blush. I feel like it's so pigmented that this would probably be better used as like a, you know, eyeshadow or something. I don't know. So that's it for the shimmering blush palette. I will see you guys in the next clip. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into my final thoughts about these palettes and what I feel. Let's first talk about the blush palettes. So I personally just don't really think these are necessary. I feel like you probably already have these blushes in your collection, and this is a lot of product. That's the only thing that I would say that's good about these is there's a lot of product, but it's $38 and you probably already have these shades in your collection. I really love the colors that they chose for these palettes because you have one for every skin tone, which I really appreciate. This would at best be for light skin, medium skin, and dark skin. So they really thought that through when they created these palettes. but I don't personally like the shimmer palette. I feel like it's still too shimmery for me. I feel like these two shades are so similar that I just don't know that it's completely worth it. I don't know. I kind of feel like I feel like the blush palettes are a pass for me. If you have been wanting to try her blushes, let's just say that you're a viewer and you've been interested in her brand and you've never bought any of her blushes, I recommend buying one of the blushes and then see if you like the formula. And if this becomes a formula that you really, really love, then I would spend the $38 on a blush palette. I just don't feel like, I feel like this would be perfect for makeup artists. You know, anybody that's a makeup artist, this would be perfect for. But I feel like this is definitely for somebody that maybe doesn't have a lot of blushes in their collection, or you're just a, you know, diehard blush fan of hers. But I just don't feel like this is necessary to run out and grab. I don't feel like these shades are different than anything else that you probably have in your collection. So if it was me and you have a lot of blushes in your collection and you like them, I would probably pass on this unless you love her formula. That's just me. So that's my thoughts on the blush palettes. Let's get into the eyeshadow palettes. I love these. I think all of them performed beautifully. I want to point out that this palette right here is all shimmers. So keep that in mind. Now this one is not fully shimmer. This one is the matte with a little bit of those glitter sparkle. You know how brands are starting to do that. So this has got a matte base to it, but it has shimmer inside of the matte, which is not my favorite. I don't personally love matte shades with sparkle in it, but this one was really pretty. This one is my favorite for sure, by far. I love this one. This one is my favorite. This one is the Night Sky. Love, love, love the purples in here. And this is like a really pretty glitter topper, just really soft. So you have the shimmer right here, and then you have this really pretty glitter that goes on top. So beautiful. These two are the matte shades, and then these three are shimmers. So do you need to run out and grab these? No, not necessarily. I think these are a great way if you, like I said, you've never tried any of her eyeshadows and you want to maybe buy something a little bit smaller, a little bit more affordable. I think this would be a nice way to introduce yourself into her brand. I love this. I love the size of these. I think these are super travel friendly. This is such a beautiful palette. I actually looked back on the footage of me creating the look with this, and I loved how kind of blown out it was. And these are just really beautiful, cool toned. Like they're mostly cool toned, but then you have this pop of warmth right here. Depending on what you need in your collection, that's how we would determine if you're gonna get these. But for me, I don't necessarily think that these are anything like that I don't already have, you know what I mean? But this one is definitely my favorite. If you love purples, this one is just absolutely beautiful. From a reviewing standpoint, did these perform? Are they beautiful? Did they apply on the eye? Great. Yes. All yes. So let's get into the lippies. The lippies, I don't know how much I love these. I was really excited about these because I do have so many of her lipstick formulas. And the one thing that I will say that I don't like about her lipstick is they have a really strong crayon scent. So I don't know if you've ever bought a lipstick that has a strong crayon scent, but hers do. And that's the one drawback. But these, I would say, are worse than the lipsticks. I don't know why, but they are. They are just very strong in that crayon smell, and I don't like that. I don't get near the amount. These are the exact same price as the lipsticks, and you get right up here on the screen. The lipsticks has 0.14 ounces, which is 4 grams. Okay, this is the lipstick. The lip crayon has 0.05, which is 1.4 grams for the exact same price. So I do not recommend you buy these. These are way overpriced for the amount of product that you get. That's what bothers me, is that the packaging, in my opinion, is probably much cheaper in this than this. I mean, this is a full bullet component. I want to know why they're charging the exact same amount of money for these two products when they're drastically different when it comes to the amount that you get. This is the lipstick and this is the lip crayon. So they seem like on the hand that they have the same amount of shine to them. Like it's hard to kind of say that they're different. I don't know. They both kind of look to be the same. I felt like wearing them, but because I'm so familiar with her bullet formula, her lipstick formula, I felt like that the crayon was a tad bit more moisturizing. It had a little bit more of a luminous look to it, but not worth the money, you guys. So overpriced for how much product you get. And that's kind of typical when it comes to crayons. I know I'm not picking on Kkw Beauty because it is one of my top 5 favorite brands, but I know that that is a typical thing out in the world, that a lot of these beauty brands will, you know, it seems like the lip crayons, you get way less, but they're still very pricey. But if I were you, just based on price alone, I would not get these. These are just way overpriced in my personal humble opinion. So those are my final thoughts on everything in this collection. Sound off down below. Let us know if you guys got anything from this collection. What did you get? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this a collection that you're even interested in? I'm so curious to hear your guys' thoughts. A couple months ago, I went through and created an entire video of all of the lip liners and all of the lipsticks and all the glosses that I have from Kkw Beauty. So if you guys are interested in that, I will leave that link in the description box down below. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. It helps my channel so much. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day filled with love and joy. I will see you all in my next video, and I love you guys so much. Bye.